Hello everybody, welcome to Pretty Good Gaming Podcast, episode number 86. Hello, croeso I podcast rhif 86. My name is Mr. Gareth Evans. Joining me today is Mr. Henry Samurai Cooper. How are we, Mr. Samurai Cooper?
I'm feeling like a samurai. I've been using a sword non-stop, been cutting people's heads off, and my life is now complete. What more do you need?
Well, enough about your private life. How about the game Cyberpunk?
Yeah, it's terrible. It's really boring and just a bad game, really. Bad game.
Yeah. Well, we are going to get. Let's jump straight in on that actually, because we've got a few things to talk about today. We've got huge news from the Game Awards, all the winners. We've got a lot of games being announced. We'll go through everything there. We've also got the regular features, which are the questions from the Discord, the quiz of the week, Triggered Fanboy, which we have this week, and then bad dad joke to finish off. But we want to jump straight in. This is going to be a jam-packed podcast. We do need to get to it because Cyberpunk. If you had your head under a rock for the last 2 weeks, you might not know that Cyberpunk's out now, and it is. And there's so much to talk about. So I'm not sure where to start.
I've made no notes because I don't even. I've made no notes because I have no idea where to begin. So it's just going to be a stream of consciousness about this one.
Let's just talk to begin about our experiences with the game. Okay, so we both playing on PC, relatively high-end PC. So that frames all our discussion around the state of the game. So beware.
Yeah,
we are going to discuss
a massive caveat on this one.
We are going to discuss all the issues that other people are supposedly having and get into the other side of things in due course. But first up, how's it been for you? You're playing on your new PC.
Yep.
You're breaking it in with your 3080 and a pretty shit hot setup. So how was the performance? Maybe not talk about performance. How was the experience?
Yeah, we'll get to performance later because
that's a
can of worms, isn't it? Yeah. It's been brilliant. Like there's no other way to say it. It's kind of like water is wet. Well, obviously it's better. Obviously it's going to run like much better than anything a console would ever be able to do.
Yeah.
But one thing that I think keeps kind of shocking me is in like little character interactions. Everything seems so like bespoke. There's no kind of just recycled animations like you often get in RPGs like even The Witcher 3 static cameras, like camera on one guy going and then camera to Geralt, and they're the same kind of things that you'll see quite a lot, and it's not really a problem, but once you see it done a different way like this where everything looks unique, that really like sold the world even more for me. Like there was a sequence. I'm not very far through. I think. Well, according. So should we set that out? Yeah. The outline. I've just seen the credits and I've just got to the apartment again. After that, we're not going to talk spoilers in this game in this podcast because we haven't played enough of the game. No. We don't want to spoil it for anybody because it's a long game. So I'm about 6 to 8 hours in. And everything I talk about is just my impressions of the game so far. So how about yourself? Yeah, I think 6 to 8 probably sounds about right for me. Like on GOG it says 8 hours, but that's definitely not 8 hours of actual playtime because I spent a lot of time fiddling with settings and I spent ages deciding my my cyber penis based on all of the different options of which
wasn't it just the options for a penis?
So, there's big penis, small penis, and then in that you can be circumcised or uncircumcised, and then just vagina, just vagina. And pubes.
Wasn't there normal penis as well? Just big, normal, and small.
Oh no. Well, maybe there was normal, but I just blitzed past that, and I was like, look at the funny little one and look at the funny big one, because I am a child. So it says 8 hours, but realistically, it's probably more like 6 or 7, because the PC was still on and I was doing other things.
Yeah, an hour and a half looking at penises.
I mean, what more can average. I do? I mean, I don't need like the seedier side of the internet anymore. I can just go in there. What do they call them in the city? It's like a joy toy or something like that. That's their word.
The brain dance.
Well, yeah, they do it with brain dancing. All that unsavory stuff that we're not allowed to talk about on YouTube. But yeah, one of the major things, and it's certainly not a problem. It's just kind of like a learning curve or like a teething problem with getting used to PC stuff is shooting. Like I can't really comment on how good or bad the shooting is because I'm still like I've done first-person shooters on PC a little bit before, but never to this sort of extent. So it's kind of a slightly different way of doing it. So getting comfortable with it and the mouse has always been fine. It's the keyboard and so many buttons that do so many different things. That's, you just got to get into your muscle memory. I've said muscle memory so many times recently for that kind of thing.
Yeah.
But on the whole, I think it's brilliant. Like, I'm really not very far in, but everything about the world is super immersive. I'm like sold on it, like the world and it being like believable and real. You know what I mean? Like everything folds back into itself. Everything links back, and everyone says, "Oh, it's so easy to get lost in an open world," but in this one, it is very easy to just actually get lost because the map is like, well, you look down on the map and it looks sort of flat, and then you can tilt it and you can see there's depth and different levels. But there's so many like spaghetti like roads which have a bunch of stuff hidden beneath them, like actual shops and stuff where you can buy clothes or weapons and that kind of stuff, and you just kind of find it. I'm like, I'm trying to get across the city, and then I accidentally take the wrong turn, and then the route completely, auto changes, and I'm like, how is this here? I've covered this section of the city quite a bit. Yeah. How have I not come across this yet?
I think the thing that strikes me most is it is the most beautiful world I have ever seen, and I've been lucky enough to have a decent graphics card to be able to put ray tracing on. I put it on max, and DLSS is a must, because otherwise it just tanks the performance. So that setting, so it does kind of get a bit blurry with the resolution sometimes when it adjusts, but in terms of the ray tracing and the way that it just looks, I found myself staring. This is Evelyn, one of the characters, just staring at her black outfit, just as it shines as she's walking down the corridor, just as the lights are shining off. I'm thinking, I've never seen anything like this in a game. It's the best example of ray tracing or just like high fidelity graphics that I've seen. Maybe not so much in facial animations, because I've seen better, but in terms of world and setting and feel, it's just immaculate. It just looks good when the when the textures have loaded in, that is.
So because I've got a pretty damn decent system here, that's an understatement. I've not really encountered any severe problems. I've had like a few little glitches, like things floating. Like there's a bit quite near the beginning where the character Jackie, I met him and he was eating like sushi or noodles or something, and it flew into his mouth. Then he did the animation for it. It's like little things like that, which totally don't destroy the game or like stop it running, but it kills any immersion you have. And because it is such an immersive game, even the tiniest little thing will trigger. Yeah. Like when I saw an NPC walk past and then the exact same NPC do the exact same thing, like it just repeated the action. Yeah,
are we getting into like the bugs?
Let's go for it. Let's just do it.
Let's open the door, because it's just there ready to be talked about. I don't really want to hold off much longer. We can talk about how good the game is in due course, right?
Everyone knows that anyway. Like we've admitted already. We're so biased. We're biased. If you come here expecting us to shit on it, you're obviously not aware of what we're doing.
The game is awesome, and up to this point, nothing but good things to say. However, the bugs are a problem, and this cannot be sidestepped.
No,
I feel like it has to be taken on the chin, because they're just prevalent everywhere. You can't go 5 or 10 minutes without seeing something wrong. Say if you're driving pretty quickly, the pop-in is just egregious. And there's a good example of it with the base consoles where where someone, if you walk up to somebody, there's a clip online, and someone did a really funny meme where doing the Jurassic Park thing, comparing the gameplay from 2018, and that is a must see. But that is on the PC as well. And if you're driving so fast, the cars just look all like dull, grey, dirty looking things, and then all of a sudden they pop into their textures and they look great again. It's the same with the characters walking around sometimes too. Not all the time, I might add, but it's like this is a problem for me. I don't know if it's a problem for you on your high-end machine as well. I mean, we're pretty high-end machines, and like this is pretty much the best experience that you're going to get out of Cyberpunk now. And everybody else who's playing on not as good hardware,
which will be most people. Like
what is their experience going to be like? We've seen some of the means. I think this is that's just one example of what's gone wrong here, right? You're talking about floaty things. I walked up to a just simple things like I walked up to a arcade machine to think maybe there's a side game where I can play it. It offered to sell me an orange juice, and I'm like, That isn't right. This model here is it thinks it's a vending machine. So and there's other things as well. There was one glitch where I got into a car. We're talking with Jackie, and for some reason the angle of my head was on a certain angle. So when I turned, I could like it was. I don't know what was wrong, but something had glitched, and I'm trying to do a first-person cutscene thing here with Jackie, and it's like this is all gone wrong. I can't even see him when I pitch my head, and there's so many instances of that, and like in cutscenes where it's pretty much first-person the whole time, but it'll roll through these cutscenes in quick succession in like a quick montage, and there's a lot of popping in those cutscenes, and I'm like, what's going on here? Like,
that's like because you start the game, and then there's like a 6-month time jump or something to then, I'm new to Night City, and then you establish yourself a little bit, you get your house, and so you're right, there's this montage, and there was loads of little bits. I was like, that's really cool. There's something distracting going wrong over there. Oh wow, that's amazing. That looks good. No, wait, hold on. There's something just not quite right over there.
It very much is bittersweet because it's a world which is beautiful, and it's a game which promises so much. But it's tinted with this very, very sour taste where it just leaves a little like, I wish I'd held off. I wish they'd delayed it. I wish they'd have finished it. I wish that this game would be complete because it's not ready. It isn't ready. They're thrown out of the oven too early, and this is having had 4 delays. Originally
at least
due
that
out
we know about. Yes, I think it was meant to come out in April. Then November, I think. Or April, September, November, December, I think. Yeah. And that's just the release dates we know about. Like, surely there would have been like target dates and stuff that got pushed, like in development and whatnot.
So although we love what it brings, we love how it looks. I personally, I don't know if I'm angry. I maybe am a little bit angry, even though this is. Even though this is CD Projekt Red and what they've done in the past is great, I just keep thinking back
for this one.
That's the question. Are these bugs excusable? There's a lot of people who are going to say, yes, this is CD Projekt Red talking about. This is Cyberpunk. But is it though? Are these bugs excusable? Would we excuse this from the likes of EA Activision, Ubisoft, Bethesda? Would we let this drop for them? Why should we let this drop for CD Projekt Red? That's the question.
And yes, a lot of people are right in saying, the bugs are going to be fixed, but there's a lot of bugs, and a lot of people were saying that before they played it, so they hadn't actually seen how bad the damage was. Like, looking at consoles, it's a joke. Like, in its own way, it's kind of I feel like it might become a cottage industry in the sense that people will make just dedicated base console buggy content because it's so entertaining to watch. Like, V walk along, turn to his side, look at someone, and their textures just go and like merge in. But it's just really bad. It's not like I saw one on Twitter that was it was like a road sign or an advert or something, and it said example text, sample text on it because the game hadn't put in what was supposed to be there. That was just the template. Yeah. It's just not good enough. No matter how good the game is actually behind all that, and your tolerance for bugs may be, different. But
yeah, that's true.
I'm very tolerant of bugs, and there's so many.
Yeah, me too. In general, I'm very tolerant, and I enjoy playing the game regardless of all this nonsense. The game is really great to play, but that doesn't excuse it for me. I'm thinking to. Just the way that they played the launch, the way that they limited the review copies based on whatever platform, because there was no review copies for any consoles at all. It was only PC review copies. They stated on Twitter, and they followed through with people who had got early copies and were releasing footage to YouTube. They DMCA'd them down. They took that down because they didn't want anybody to see what the base consoles specifically, or any console at all, the way that it ran on those consoles. All the reviews out there on day one were PC versions of the game, and they deliberately construed that situation, manipulated the press, if you like, to only give reviews of the best version of their game. And I think that's deceptive. I don't forgive them for doing that. I think that's completely and utterly misleading, and I would absolutely lynch any other company for doing it. And I'm not letting CD Projekt Red off the hook for doing it.
So many people.
I'm really pretty angry about the way that they've gone about that.
Yeah, it's just not acceptable. And then limiting what footage people can show in the reviews, and then some people are, oh, it's to prevent spoilers. Well, it's like, well, surely you can put just terms in your embargo specifically around spoilers. I know. I've read.
You can only show the first, you can only show the first 6 hours, for example, which I knew anyway going in.
Yeah.
Like everything I've played, I was anticipating so far. I'm at the point now where the world's opened up, and I'm like, I don't know what's going to happen next. But everything in that first 6 hours, you could allow reviewers to record all that, because it's all been in trailers, it's all been in marketing material, it's all been in the promotion. You could have allowed people.
The old E3 trailer, like the first gameplay debut, that's like the first proper mission in Night City after you I started as Nomad. I don't know how it starts for anyone else. I came in from the desert, I drove in, and then we had this time jump montage thingamajig, and then we did that mission. It was quite quick, that was super early, so I don't see what's wrong with showing that sort of shit. But it's just not good enough, and the fact that it's CD Projekt and they're so popular for a very good reason with gamers, they've earned that reputation very well, but this time, at least on the PR side and the management side, they've totally dropped the ball.
Well, I think they've tried their best to make the best of a bad situation. In terms of, you put them in their shoes, right? They're between a rock and a hard place, and the way I always think that it's down to the investors, right, and to being publicly traded. If CD Projekt Red was privately owned and they didn't have to answer to investors, and the worth as a company wasn't riding on the success of this game, I think they could have delayed it a year and been happy with that. But because they need to, in essence, lie to either us or the investors, because they've got to keep both parties happy. They've lied to the investors in the past, and it was only just recently where they told the investors, "Oh, they're not crunching hard at all. The crunch isn't so bad." And then the very next day,
he apologized.
The very next day, he apologized to his staff in the press, saying, "Oh, I'm sorry, I've got no excuse for it." And that's just a symptom of the situation that they're in as a company,
because they are a corporation. We badmouth corporations all the time, like Activision and EA, but CD Projekt are still one. They just are generally much better, and at least try to be, or at least that's the way it looks.
So they just didn't have a choice to delay it again, because investors would lose confidence, the value would dip, and they just have hundreds of millions of pounds worth of company value just wiped overnight or whatever. But this is what it needed. It needed an extra year at least. This game is in early access. It isn't ready for deployment. If our experiences on the best rigs you can play it on are bad, then it's, I don't know. It's just awful.
And there's
it's
so many stupid arguments of people legitimately complaining because they paid full price, 50, 60 quid or whatever for the game, then being like, it's really glitchy, what the hell? And then people being like, oh, well, it's glitchy because you're playing it on base PS4. It's like, yeah, but he fucking paid for it. He paid for a game expecting it to be, adequate.
Yeah, that's not a good defense.
That's not an argument. Or just get a PC. I mean, I'm in an incredibly fortunate position to have been, provided one and this and that. So I can fully sympathise, because I was going to get it on console, and I would have
dodged
been in
the bullet with that one.
Yeah, totally dodged the bullet. I would have been in exactly the same boat. One of my buddies messaged me recently. He's like, because he knew I would probably have the game already. He's like, oh, what do you think about Cyberpunk? Think about getting it? And I was like, right, it's really, really good. Totally recommend it. Definitely get it next year. Don't buy it now, because he'll be playing it on console. So just don't buy it. You don't lose anything by waiting. Just wait a bit.
Yeah, that's true. There are key differences between this game and other games that were shit on release. So thinking in terms of Fallout, can't remember, 76. Yeah. Fallout 76. What were the other buggy ones?
All of them. It's a Bethesda game.
EA ones. Yeah. My brain's gone. Anthem. Yeah. That was the one I was thinking. My brain's gone so much. But those two games and Marvel as well, right? Not that I've played that, but the difference between those 3 games and this game is that this game, you can see where it's going to go. You can see that it's going to get
the game design is fine. Like, that's solid.
And you can trust CD Projekt Red because they've got track record with Witcher 3. That released in a bad state, everyone conveniently kind of overlooks with the reviews and that. This game will be good eventually. I've got no doubt about that. Does that excuse the state that it's released in? No. These other games, it's very touch and go, whether they can get these games in decent state. Fallout 76, I've completely lost faith. Anthem, we don't know what's going to happen with that. And then, all the others, you don't know. There's very uncertainties. But they have got a good track record of CD Projekt Red, so give them a little bit of credit for that. But they do not deserve to be to be forgiven for this. This can't be overlooked. We have to raise a grievance with this, and I don't mean in the way that you go to Twitter and start blasting off or whatever. Don't do that. Don't ever do that. Don't ever target people personally from the development studios I'm talking now. Don't do that. Let your feelings know on Twitter in other ways. Tell them this isn't good enough, whatever. Don't get angry about it. But it is important that they hear it because they do take consumer. It is important to them what the consumers think. And if we allow them to get away with this, then they'll continue doing this in the future. Yeah. And where does the line go then? How far they push it? And they'll forgive us. The loyal fan base. Don't ever be loyal to that point where you overlook someone's faults. Yeah. Credit where it's due. But also, you need to highlight the things that they're not doing right. And this is one of those instances. They cannot be excused for this.
And the thing is, I'm sure that they know that. Like, they're going to be seeing all of the tweets, emails, YouTube videos, everything about it. And they'll be like, yeah, this is bad. Like, we need to fix it. That's literally their job from now on. In addition to like post-launch content and stuff, which they've confirmed. I say all they have to do, but their entire focus now basically is on just fixing it. And
it's easy for them. They just crunch their developers for the next 6 months.
Yeah,
they're all fixed. Oh man, it gets worse.
Yeah, I think it would, if the game was like worse altogether from a company no one likes, fewer people would give so much of a shit. But it's pretty much the most hyped game of all time. Whether or not you like it or plan to get it, I don't think that's hard to dispute. I do think that's hard to dispute, rather. Most hyped game ever. It is a
confirmed
good game.
8 million. Confirmed 8 million pre-orders.
Yeah, and it was, I think I saw 1 million Steam users, just Steam, not PC as a whole, just Steam concurrent Steam players. And then obviously GOG, which there will be an even bigger portion than usually on GOG because it's their platform, they own it.
Absolutely.
Then there's consoles, which it's a big AAA release. It's still probably going to see most of its sales on console because that's generally how things trend.
Well, actually, I saw some of that. 59% was PC.
Oh, really?
41 was console.
Oh, okay.
So
that's a surprise. But yeah, that's still a massive, massive amount, and that's
just the pre-orders, though. We don't know how it's sold since it launched. It launched yesterday. Loads of people are going to have bought it since then.
And speaking of buying it and stuff, obviously I'm PC, and that's digital only. But because I've always been a big fan of physical media, I wanted to get the box copy, not because it has a disc in it, because it doesn't, but I like having a thing, and because we've shat on them for a little bit, let's give them a bit of good news. In the box, let's see if I can reach it. You get these stuff. You get stuff. So here's my box, and then there's a little slip cover thing. And there's all this, there's things, there's
physical
postcards and like a map. Everyone loves a good map, which is somewhere. There's a compendium.
It's old school, man.
There's loads of shit. There's all stuff, and
I got
it's just the standard version.
The digital version. Even I bought the digital version on GOG, and I got like a digital comic book. I got loads of artwork. Yeah. I got a 30% discount on their store if I want to buy any merchandise and that. There's just a bunch of things that come with and also there's, even if you pre-ordered it on the Steam side too, you also got some of the like in-game cosmetics or something too. So I mean, they're giving away a bunch of stuff with the pre-orders, I might say, whereas that doesn't not necessarily a pre-order. That just comes with the physical box,
and that's
right?
The base, standard version. It's not a collector's edition. It's not a special edition or anything. It's just here's the game and some cool stuff. And I like that. It's the way games used to be.
Yeah, and I remember buying The Witcher in the Switch, right? Witcher 3 on the Switch. I remember opening the box and it's like a thank you for purchasing this.
Oh
this
yeah,
game.
There's a little thank you note thing in there. Yeah,
it's those personal touches that kind of warm CD Projekt Red with their fan base, and it's why they're so well thought of. Part of the reason why they're so well thought of, because there's a mutual kind of relationship there where you scratch our back, we'll scratch yours type of thing. But at the same time, I think being a corporation, being put in this situation where they're having to appease the
investors,
the shareholders as well as the gamers. I think this is just maybe a symptom of how the games industry is these days.
Yeah.
How it's just like, not that I'm excusing that.
No,
definitely shouldn't be the case. And I said my piece, and I'm not going to go over it again. But like I said, this is just how it is. Do we accept it? No, I'm not going to accept it. I'm going to always speak my mind. But I think it's completely wrong, and it's sad, is what it is. There's nothing else to be said about it. It's just the way it is. It's just the way gaming is these days. This game will be great in a year's time, and I'm going to play it. I'm going to be playing it, and I'm going to be enjoying it as soon as I finish editing this podcast, doing my work for today. I'm going to be playing the hell out of Cyberpunk. I'm not saying you shouldn't buy Cyberpunk right now. Unless your tolerance for bugs is lower than mine, you definitely buy it because it's a great game. But that said, I don't know. It leaves a better taste. I always thought that CD Projekt Red were better than this, better than putting the profits first. What should they have done, Henry? I know what they should have done. You said it on the Discord, but you know what they should have done to do with the console.
Staggered release. Just do it.
It was easy, man. It's
staggered
easy.
release.
Just take it. It's easy. Just do it that way. Do it. Even Rockstar know that, right?
Yeah. Like, if it's good to go on PC, and they also said current gen consoles, which is kind of, I'm still trying to get my head around it. Current gen is now PS5 and Series X/S.
Yeah.
So if it's good to go on those, they put it on those, and then what would you call forwards compatible or whatever? Release it on old gen PS4 and Xbox One. Vanilla. It should be able to run on vanilla, not Pro and not Xbox One X.
Yeah.
Do that later. Like, there's no real harm.
Or not at all.
Or not at all. Or not at all.
That's fine. So one thing that this highlights to me now is just how much the old hardware, the old base PS4 and Xbox. I can't even remember what they were. Xbox One.
Dumb Xbox
how much
names.
they were holding back the games industry. Look at this. Look at the games. Look at the games now, and then the promise that we're going to talk about some of the new trailers that have been released, and some of them look awesome, right? Just look at the fidelity. Look at how great they look, and then you compare what they're going to have. They're trying to fit like a square peg in a round hole, trying to get these games to run on the old 7-8-year-old hardware. It's just almost not doable. So just don't do it. It's like these consoles have been you feel me, right? You're a PC Master Race player now. But fuck these old consoles.
It's such a catch-22 though, because without the money of those consoles player base that they'll bring in, they won't have enough money to make the game as good as it currently is.
Yeah, that's true.
So like if they only release it on PC, that's a much more limited install base, which means they're not going to get as much money from literal purchases. So they won't make up the money that they've spent on it, so the game won't have as much money to be able to put in it to make it as good as it could be. So you can't win. You can't win.
Yeah, it's a very complicated situation. It's to do with how cheap the tech is, essentially. Yeah. If tech was cheaper, they could mass produce the better systems quicker. They could have like mid-generational
that's the way it's
more often,
go.
And then hopefully if they can get the tech prices right, because people just want a certain price point to be in, like $200-$300. They want to be into the
just do it quick
into the market. Then okay, so I think I've spouted off enough about Cyber. I'm going to get hate for this, and people are going to justify why why it's all right for CD Projekt Red to do it, but it's not all right for other people to do it. And if you've got a good defense for CD Projekt Red outside of what we're lying, leave it in the comments, because I'm quite certain that there's no defense to this. I'm a reasonable.
Be fixed. Yeah, but people still paid for it. Like, it doesn't matter.
There's no excuse. If you can't excuse Bethesda for that, why excuse CD Projekt Red for that?
Yeah,
you know what I mean. It's the same mentality. Anyway, let me know why you think I'm wrong. You're entitled to your opinion as much as I'm entitled to mine. I think this is reprehensible, and I won't use any. I won't beat around the bush saying it. I think CD Projekt Red have shot themselves in the foot and have lost a lot of goodwill from me. That's for sure. We'll see what happens. I'll always question them in future now. Oh, we're releasing this next Cyberpunk 2 or Witcher 4.
The multiplayer
I'm like,
one. Yeah.
We'll wait and fucking see. We'll wait and see. Although, that's what I'll be like.
Touching on the multiplayer there, it just popped into my head. I don't know if you saw it on Twitter. I think like the Cyberpunk account posted something. It was a few days ago. Then someone replied back, unless you add multiplayer, this game's going to be dead in a month. And it got, I don't know, maybe 100 or 1,000 likes. Like, a few people liked it. Then the Witcher account tweeted back, say, oh, what the fuck did they say? It was like,
okay,
okay then. Kind of just like, okay. And it got like 10,000 likes. Like the fattest ratio I think I've ever seen.
All right, so that's enough about...
Should we move on?
Yeah, so we've got more than just me spouting off about how bad CD Projekt Red are. We've got the Game Awards. So the Game Awards were yesterday, and it kind of flew under the radar. Everyone's talking about Cyberpunk.
Yeah.
I mean, in my feed and everywhere, like I didn't see much about the Game Awards. I saw a couple of, Last of Us wins, blah, 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 and then, spoiler, obviously, Last of Us won 1 or 2 or whatever. We're going to go through them all. Henry's created a list for us. We should run through the winners.
The winners will bang through real quick. And then there's the...
and then we've got a host of trailers to talk about, because there's some decent looking games coming out there, but we've both watched them all, so we can give you our lowdown of what we think are the best ones to come out. There's some ones to look out for, basically.
We're not going to cover all of them, because some of them we're not super interested in, but there should be links to all of them in the description if you want to go check them out for yourself. So we'll start off with the big one, Game Awards, the Game of the Year. For this one I'll read the other nominees, but I won't do that for all of them. Doom Eternal, Final Fantasy VII Remake, Ghost of Tsushima, Hades, Animal Crossing New Horizons, and The Last of Us 2. Unsurprisingly, The Last of Us 2 won. Wildly popular with a lot of fans and all the critics pretty much, so that's not surprising. I'm not like mad about it though. Like a lot of people are going to be like, oh, it's a blah, blah, blah. Yeah. But I mean, I don't care.
Your pick was Doom, right?
Yeah, my pick personally was Doom. On that list, it would be Doom number 1, Ghost number 2. So close to taking number 1 though. Like I love Ghost. The more I've been urging to like play it again. Hades number 3. Then it's a toss-up between Final Fantasy and The Last of Us, and I don't like Animal Crossing. That's like 10. That's like way down. Next up, Best Game Direction, Final Fantasy VII, Ghost of Tsushima, Hades, Half-Life Alyx, which is great that it even got a nom. Like,
made it.
It's a VR
game.
Yeah. And The Last of Us 2, Last of Us 2 won. Unsurprising. Again, I'm not super mad about it because it is a well-directed visually game because it's so much like a film. Personally, I would have gone for Ghost because I think it's more stylish and has more of a unique personality to it. Best Narrative, 13 Sentinels, Aegis Rim, Final Fantasy VII, Ghost of Tsushima, Hades, and once again, The Last of Us 2, and it wins. So that's the first big ones.
Top 3 categories.
Yeah, right. And again, unsurprising, I wouldn't have put it because I think the narrative does a lot of ambitious things by telling a dual perspective story, but I don't think it's told in the best way. I think it's really slow and it kills the pacing. I would have probably given it to Ghost of Tsushima. But that's a more straightforward narrative. Or Hades, because roguelikes, roguelike, or whatever the fuck, can lend themselves really well to interesting narratives because they can incorporate the fact that you die in it. So Hades would have been a great shout. But I'm not this one is the one I'm most like, I'd rather Last of Us didn't win. Like the other two, I'm like, okay, fair enough. But anywho, moving on. Best Arts Direction, Final Fantasy VII, Ghost of Tsushima, Hades, Ori and the Will of the Wisps, and The Last of Us 2. And Ghost of Tsushima got this one, which I think is the obvious winner apart from maybe Hades. Like Hades, I would have probably picked, but Ghost of Tsushima,
I'd have picked Ghost of Tsushima because it's just. I mean, I think we said this in the podcast.
Yeah, what did I say last? Because there's another one. It's like art style or something. I can't remember because there is.
Yeah,
it's like
my
a slight
pick would
difference.
be Ghost.
Yeah.
I mean, I've not played Ghost. I played Hades, but I think Ghost just looks so great. It just looks brilliant.
And it's I mean, it's art direction. It's not just like style. It's everything with all the leaves and shit. Well, you know that we're kind of treading old ground. Best score and music: Doom Eternal, Final Fantasy VII, Hades, Ori and the Will of the Wisps, and The Last of Us 2. And Final Fantasy VII won that, and that's what I would have voted for. I'm happy about that. It's a classic soundtrack, updated with new versions. There's nothing more you can really add to it. It was already brilliant, like in the first place. Best audio design, which is different.
Yep.
Doom Eternal, Half-Life Alyx, Ghost of Tsushima, Resident Evil 3, and The Last of Us 2. Yeah, perfectly happy with that winner because
that's fine.
The guns sound cool. Beating people to death sounds cool. Stabbing dogs sounds cool. Like they make it sound like it should. Best performance winner. Well, I would assume I've never stabbed a dog, but
how should it sound, Henry? Yeah.
Well, let us know in the comments. I don't want to answer that. I don't want to think about it. All right. Best performance: Ashley Johnson as Ellie in The Last of Us 2, Laura Bailey as Abby in The Last of Us Part 2, Dice. Forgive me for mispronouncing his name.
Sushi.
Thank you. Plays Jin in Ghost of Tsushima. Logan Cunningham as Hades in Hades. Not the guy who plays Zagreus, just the guy who plays Hades in Hades. Zagreus is the playable character. Yeah. And Naji Jeter as Miles Morales in Marvel Spider-Man Miles Morales. And Laura Bailey won that, I think. Again, totally cool with that. It was a toss-up really between Laura Bailey and Ashley Johnson. I think Ashley Johnson has won it before, so that perhaps maybe influenced people. Maybe it should have, maybe it shouldn't have, but both of those are perfectly... All five of those are brilliant choices. Games for Impact, which is kind of a wishy-washy thing, but I think it's quite a good idea, but it doesn't really mean anything. Like, in theory, I'm like, oh yeah, something that's meaningful, but how the hell do you quantify that? If Found by Dreamfeel, Kentucky Route Zero TV Edition by Cardboard Computer, Spiritfarer by Thunder Lotus Games, Tell Me Why by Don't Nod Entertainment / Xbox Game Studios, and Through the Darkness of Times by Paint Bucket Games. Tell Me Why, 1. I've not played any of those, so I can't really comment on them particularly.
Yeah.
Best ongoing game: Apex Legends, Destiny 2, Call of Duty Warzone, Fortnite, and No Man's Sky. I think No Man's Sky is a great choice for winner. And it did win, just to make that clear.
Very well supported, yeah.
Especially as it's not like explicitly a multiplayer game. They've just done a great job updating over time. Best indie game winner: Carrion by Phobia Game Studios / Devolver, Fall Guys Ultimate Knockout by Mediatonic / Devolver, Hades by Supergiant Games, Spelunky 2 by Mossmouth LLC, and Spiritfarer by Thunder Lotus Games. And Hades won that, which is obvious. Like, I mean, that's undisputed. Yeah. Fall Guys is cool, but Hades is just so good. Hades is brilliant. Definitely. Best mobile game winner, which I think this is a bad choice. Among Us, Call of Duty Mobile, Genshin Impact, Legends of Runeterra, and Pokemon Cafe Mix. I don't know what I would pick, but I don't believe Among Us should have won like it did because it came out in 2018. I don't think it qualifies. I think it should have been nominated for ongoing game because it's picked up so much steam this year. Because how did it start? It was just a bunch of streamers or something like exposed it to everyone, and everyone was like, "Oh, that's quite a cool game."
I guess it's weighted towards what's popular. This one, it must be because Among Us is very popular.
But But I think calling Among Us best mobile game of the year for 2020, I don't know. I mean
yeah, it's debatable whether you should include it because it wasn't released this year. But in an industry where games are supported and updated all the time, then there is an argument to say that maybe it is a valid winner. I don't know.
Or you'd have to dissolve the categories even more because there used to be like hardly any of these categories, but then they split them like music and audio design. They're now two separate things. Anyway, best community sport winner: Apex, Destiny, Fall Guys, Fortnite, No Man's Sky, Valorant. Fall Guys won that again. I'm totally on board with that. Their social media guy is really like on it with what he's doing. Best VR / AR: Dreams, Half-Life Alyx, Marvel's Iron Man, Star Wars Squadrons, Walking Dead Saints and Sinners. Half-Life won that, unsurprising, but all of those are meant to be quite like decent VR experiences, so VR is definitely getting better. Which is great news. There's more ways to play games. Innovation in accessibility winner, so that's features to make games more playable for more people, which is always good. Assassin's Creed Valhalla, Grounded, Hyperdot, The Last of Us Part 2, and Watch Dogs Legion. The Last of Us Part 2 won that. Perfectly well deserved completely. Their accessibility features are incredible. Assassin's Creed Valhalla and Watch Dogs Legion, after playing them both and both have multiple problems, their accessibility is great. It's like right at the beginning, just like The Last of Us, all these features and stuff, so that's good news. Where are we now? Best action game winner is Doom Eternal or Hades or Half-Life Alyx, Neo 2, Streets of Rage 4. Hades won that, which again, solid win. Hades is brilliant. I would personally probably still nudged it towards Doom, because Doom's my game of the year, so... But that's a great choice. Best action-adventure game, Assassin's Creed Valhalla, Ghost of Tsushima, Marvel's Spider-Man Miles Morales, Ori and the Will of the Wisps, Star Wars Jedi Fallen Order, which came out last year but didn't qualify for last year's Game Awards, so that's why it's in. And The Last of Us Part 2 and The Last of Us Part 2 won for action-adventure. I would have given it to Ghost because it's more of an action-adventure, because it's open world and it's designed more like that. Last of Us 2, more on the action side of action-adventure, I would probably say. Where are we now? Best RPG, Final Fantasy VII Remake, Genshin Impact, Persona 5 Royale, Wasteland 3. Is it Royale or Royal? No, it's just Royal. There's no E on it. Yeah, Persona 5 Royal, Wasteland 3 or Yakuza Like a Dragon, and Final Fantasy VII Remake. It's the only one of those I've played, so that's the one I would go for.
Mm-hmm.
And it's, again, it's a classic franchise. Best fighting game, Grand Blue Fantasy versus Mortal Kombat 11 Ultimate, Street Fighter 5 Champion Edition, One Punch Man, A Hero Nobody Knows, and Under Night in Birth X Late CLR. I don't know how you really pronounce that, but I don't know what it is. But Mortal Kombat 11 won that. Which, again, Mortal Kombat 11 came out a few years ago, but this is like the game of the year DLC included version, I think. Yeah, if I'm not mistaken. It's like the one-up version. Oh, there's so many fucking awards. All right.
Just do the
I'm just going to do the winners now. Best family game, Animal Crossing. Total unsurprise. Makes sense.
Yeah.
Best sim/strategy, Microsoft Flight Simulator. I mean, if the game that has simulator in the title didn't win the sim category, I would be very upset.
Mm-hmm.
So, yeah, Flight Sim makes sense. Best sports/racing game was Tony Hawk's Pro Skater 1 and 2 remake, which, I mean, well, skateboarding is a sport.
Says a lot, doesn't it? It says a lot that
a remake that can do it.
Yeah. Remake game can beat all the new, like, FIFA 21, NBA 2K21, and all those, like, rehashes. They haven't done that with Tony Hawk's. It's not like Tony Hawk's 2021 and all that. Like they all they've got to do is redo an old game and bring it up to speed with the graphics and that. And lo and behold, it's the best game of the year in terms of sports.
Best multiplayer game winner, and again, Among Us won that one with competition from Animal Crossing in a multiplayer category. Like there is multiplayer, but I mean, people obviously. Voted for it to be nominated. Call of Duty Warzone, Fall Guys, which I would have voted for, and Valorant. So again, I don't really think Among Us should have taken that. But that's
have you played Among Us though?
No, I haven't played.
My kids play and love Among Us, and there's so many. They watch so many YouTubers who do too.
Huge,
so yeah,
it's just the way if I was in charge, I wouldn't have voted for it. But,
I just wanted to frame that because a lot of people might have played it and think, well, what's he talking about? You shouldn't have won. If you've not played it, then it's easy for you to dismiss
exactly.
it. Right?
Okay, Content Creator of the Year was Valkyrie. I don't know who any of these nominees are apart from Alana Pierce, but she didn't win. Best Debut Game, Phasmophobia, which it's a recent horror one. Is it? I think it's VR. It's another one where a load of streamers picked it up and generated popularity for it. Yeah. Best Esports Athlete was...
That's the esports one, isn't it?
Here we go. Right. Do you want to skip ahead like 5 minutes? I wouldn't blame you.
Well, some people might be interested, so just read them without comment and let's move on.
Okay. Esports Athlete, Hio Showmaker Sue. Best Esports Coach, Danny Zonic Soren. I imagine it's Zoranson. He won. Best Esports Event, League of Legends World Championship 2020. Best Esports Game, League of Legends. Best Esports Host. Okay, this is going to be tricky for me to pronounce. Ifya Siox Deportier. I'm going to say that.
Nicely done.
Sorry.
Nicely done.
His name's Jeff. Best Esports Team, G2 Esports. And, thank goodness, that's all of them.
And that is it. So the big takeaway from the winners is that Last of Us won 6, like we expected. And they plus the actor in Laura Bailey, right? Yeah. So they won 7 awards technically, but 6 just for the game. They didn't get the player's voice one, and there's a bit of controversy around that because people are arguing that
people deliberately went on to vote for Ghost even though they didn't play it just to spite Last of Us. But I'm like, it's a flaw in the voting process, but if that's what the gaming collective wants, and that
it's like, just one.
It's an award. It doesn't matter.
You know, it doesn't matter. It's just one. They've won 6. Don't be greedy. I mean, people didn't like it for certain reasons. It's up to them.
And I don't like that a lot of people are saying, Ghost only won because people hate Last of Us. And I think, yeah, maybe. I'm sure there probably was a groundswell of people from like 4chan and like Reddit to try and finagle it. But Ghost of Tsushima is a brilliant game. And I think it's a real disservice to how good that game is. And all the people who genuinely like it to just be like, oh, it only won because blah, blah, blah. Like, I think you're completely undervaluing anyone.
Yeah.
I mean, I didn't even vote for it. I voted for Doom. So.
There you go. Right. So with all that said, there was a bunch of new trailers for games we're expecting, new game announcements, and there was just loads of them. And you won't have seen much of this in your news feeds because of Cyberpunk, obviously. So we've gone through them all, and the headline is there's a new Mass Effect game in production now. This is a big talking point because of the history with BioWare and the Mass Effect series. Mass Effect Andromeda's kind of flop. The fact that they didn't support it into the future. A lot of people were expecting that to be supported, and EA were just like, nah, we're just not going to support it. And they do say it's in very early production. Do you want to talk about the trailer, for example? Well, we haven't talked about the trailer. I'm talking about everything around it. So, the trailer, it's pretty damn good, right?
It's a cool CG trailer, and like I don't like them because they're kind of pointless. But I'm not going to pretend that I didn't get a little bit hyped by it because you don't necessarily know it's Mass Effect at first. It's like space, and then you see like a blown up spaceship, and then we're on a planet, like a snowy planet. Someone picks up a bit of what looks like shrapnel, and they like brush it off, and it says N7. And I'm quite confident that person is Liara, who's one of your companions. Like it could be another one of her species, which name I can't remember. Is she Aquarian? I can't remember. No,
she's got freckles, right? Just like Liara.
Yeah.
So that kind of gives it away.
And Liara is.
And she get a bit of a smile. A smile. Yeah. Everyone's Bay.
She's great. She's my favorite of the girls. So yeah, it's not called anything yet. It's just Mass Effect something. Although if she's in it, it could very easily continue like Shepard's kind of side of it, as opposed to being a sequel to Andromeda. It could be a Mass Effect 4. You know what I mean?
Well, some people are speculating because of the very first scene. There's 2 galaxies, and it pans into one of them. But people are speculating because Andromeda's in a different galaxy, right? That it could be a sequel to both,
perhaps.
But how Andromeda's that much further in the future? Is Liara still alive then? Is that feasible? I mean,
I think those guys live for ages, but I can't really remember.
Right.
But anyway, New Mass Effect game is definitely happening. Who knows if it'll be any good, or if it'll even make it out, given what BioWare is going through at the moment. Oh dear.
There you go.
Next one, Master Chief and the Blood Gulch map are coming to Fortnite, which is. I mean, it's kind of cool. If you're a fan of Fortnite, I'm sure you'll like it. What I thought was funny is Fortnite's upload of the trailer, and it's not like a proper trailer. It's Red vs. Blue, which if you're a Halo fan, you will know what Red vs. Blue is. They kind of introduce him, and then Ninja's skin avatar thing is there, and they have a little bit of chat. It was quite in cool, fun way to do it. On Fortnite's upload of it, it got decent likes and all that. But then on like IGNs and GameSpots, loads of people were disliking. I'm like, come the fuck on, man. It's clearly it's not for you. Like, it's for Fortnite people. Fortnite people will like it. If you don't like it, you don't have to fucking play it. And they recently got what's his face, Kratos, for PlayStation. So now they've got the probably the biggest PlayStation mascot at the moment and the biggest Microsoft mascot, which I think is quite a cool little marriage. What was next? Evil Dead, the game, coming in 2020, made by Saber Interactive, who are the same people who did World War Z, and it's another like a CG kind of trailer, and it seems to be suggest that it's like a 4-player co-op kind of thing, much like World War Z, but I don't know for sure.
Co-op horror game.
Yeah, I'm not like a big Evil Dead person. I think I might have seen one of them, but so that's cool if you like it. Doesn't really mean much to me. Outriders got a Mantras of Survival trailer, but it's like a narrated trailer, and it's like, these are the pillars of what you need to do. You need to like not stay in cover. You need to be hyper aggressive. You need to use your like magic powers and shit.
Yeah, I think this is a good direction to take with the marketing because I've a lot of criticisms around when it was released and people were playing it. I've played it myself and I know that it's good to play. It feels great to play. The powers are good and it's a huge selling point. It's a multiplayer co-op thing, 3-player co-op.
It's a looty thing, isn't it?
Yeah, it's a bit unusual. It's a bit generic. But it was fun to play. But people were writing it off, and I'm like, you haven't played it. But this takes a good direction with the marketing because it kind of illustrates that this is a different. It's not. Don't stay behind cover. You've got to run forward. You've got to kill them to recharge your health. A bit like Doom. There's more to this gameplay than it appears, and I think it's good that they've highlighted that in this new trailer because it will get people a bit more excited about it. Because, like I said, it is a game that will give you something a little bit different.
And it's made by People Can Fly, who did Bulletstorm, and Bulletstorm was brilliant. So that's enough of a reason for me to be kind of interested. It also got a new release date because it was supposed to be out. Kind of now, it was like late 2020 kind of thing originally anyway, but obviously world's a bit shit at the moment in case you haven't noticed. It's now coming out on the 2nd of February, so it's not like a huge delay, so it's not too far. Super Meat Boy Forever is coming to I think it's Epic Games Store. Not sure if it's like 100% exclusive or timed exclusive or exclusive at all, don't know that, but the trailer was put up by Epic Games Store. That's coming on December 23rd this year, so Christmas Eve.
The next one, the next one wasn't a game trailer at all. It was just a movie starring Vin Diesel.
Yeah.
It was Vin Diesel in the new movie called Ark 2. Which is it's a completely CG trailer of just like this huge action scene with Vin Diesel kicking the shit out of loads of
dinosaurs,
like T-Rexes and like beasts and stuff. I'm like, really?
I mean it was a cool little short film. Like, it was kind of like, action-packed and entertainment. It's not a fucking game, though. The fact that it was Vin Diesel as well, I'm like, oh, come on, man. But, I mean, it could be cool. I don't play Ark, but it's got a big fan base.
I mean, Ark 2 now, I mean, they supported that game. I mean, it's one of those games that had, like, day one expansions out the gate, so it was a bit controversial at the time. But Ark, obviously got a big budget now for getting Vin Diesel on board. The trailer looks good. It gives you no indication what the game's going to play like.
Not at all.
So, I mean...
presumably reasonably similar to Ark 1, but I mean we don't. It doesn't show any like new innovations or like what qualifies it to be a sequel. But anyway, if you like Vin Diesel, give it a look. Then there was a game by Scavengers Studios called Season, which is like an artsy, wholesome, pretty bicycle road trip game. If you like those kind of things, it's meant to be PS5 exclusive, as far as I'm aware.
The trailer was just like, look how beautiful our game is. And it does look pretty good.
Looks nice.
The art style of it's really good.
Like if that's what you're after, it's probably not going to be like super mechanically heavy, and it's like emotional storytelling, all that sort of stuff. Mm-hmm. The Swedish chef from The Muppets, as in the Muppet character, is coming to Overcooked All You Can Eat, which, I mean,
That's a thing.
Muppets is a real blind spot for me. I never watched it as a kid, and I just do not care about the Muppets at all. So anytime something happens, I'm like, all right, cool, whatever. I hope other people enjoy it, but I don't know. Okay, so this next one is my highlight so far, and not much is really known about it, but it's called Crimson Desert, and it's by Pearl Abyss, who are the people who did Black Desert Online, which is an MMO, and it looks awesome. It looks
this game looks beautiful.
Like, so the trailer itself,
from the facial the facial features and the landscapes, it looks fantastic.
The trailer it's still a work in progress, but in the trailer there's loads of like framey bits where it kind of drops and slows down, or at least on the version I was watching. It could be compression or whatever, but in raw fidelity it looks gorgeous. It's an open world action adventure game. It's meant to be narrative-driven, single-player, but with some multiplayer functionality. Don't really know what that means, and I got that from their Pearl Abyss website. But it looks awesome. It looks like a kind of Assassin's Creed-y... Skyrim-y... Red Dead Redemption.
If Assassin's Creed and Skyrim had smashed together and had a baby, that's what the gameplay would be like.
Seems to look like,
yeah. But when you throw in Red Dead Redemption 2's like awesome vistas and environments, it looks like a match made in heaven. It's definitely something to look out for.
So just to be a bit more specific, it's like an open world sort of fantasy medieval kind of setting with third person kind of hack and slash combat. It looks like there's a little bit of magic, but not loads. Probably more like the Witcher's level of magic. Like, it's not crazy spells, but just like little buffs and enhancements.
I was impressed with the facial animations or the facial texture. You know, just how the characters look in the faces. I was really impressed by that, because looking at obviously this is a trailer. I don't get too excited, but it looks better than Cyberpunk. I mean, I'll put it that way. I mean, some of Cyberpunk's facial features aren't that good, especially with on my system anyway, the way that it's rendering because of the DLSS and the ray tracing and stuff like that. The faces don't look as good as this. But then again, this is just a trailer, so I probably should have learned my lesson to get excited about it.
I don't think this is this Crimson Desert is necessarily like an RPG. I think it's supposed to be more like action adventure with RPG elements, if that makes sense.
Yeah.
But
there you go. Like every other Assassin's Creed.
Yeah, that's my highlight of the reveals, personally.
Yeah.
Endless Dungeon is a tactical roguelite asymmetric shooter thing, but the trailer had very, very little gameplay in it, but it looks quite cool. Very nice art style. Yeah, very nice art. Nice. Okay, Disco Elysium, the final cut, is kind of like an upgraded version of the original game, coming for free as like a free upgrade. If you have it on, PC and PS4, you get free upgrade to the final cut version, and that's coming in March, and will also be coming to PS5, and then in summer, it's coming to Xbox Series X and the Switch. And the Switch is what I want. Like, I've got a PC now I can play it on, but I will choose to play it on the Switch so I can play it on the sofa.
And it's great that they've added in new voices for all these characters now, whereas when I played it back in EGX a few years ago, there were no voices at all, but they've voiced all the characters in the world now, which is one of the plus points for me, because a text-based RPG like this is, having to read through reams and reams of text, it doesn't really appeal. But then when you add in these voice acting now, it's like, at least it gives me a little bit of respite from having to read and get like squinty-eyed. Okay,
next up was Dragon Age 4, and it's not called Dragon Age 4, it's just called Hold Your Breath Dragon Age. So there was nothing else in the trailer other than it was a CG one again, and it was a guy being like, "We don't need a chosen one or a prophecy. We just need anyone to fight this battle," or whatever.
So another game by BioWare, right? So this is 2 games from BioWare. We knew this was coming, but
arguably 3, because they've got the Mass Effect remaster, but that's not like a full game.
Yeah, that's true. We couldn't assume, because this is coming before the new Mass Effect game, because Mass Effect says it's very early development. We can expect Mass Effect maybe in 3 or 4 years. 4 years playable, probably.
Yeah, for an EA game.
No matter when it releases, probably 4 or 5 years before it's playable. So Dragon Age, that's another great and highly anticipated game. A lot of people a bit dubious about the more recent track record of BioWare, whether they're going to be able to
losing their key staff.
Yeah, I mean, they've lost Casey Hudson recently. They lost Mike Dara.
Yeah, Mike Dara, who is the Dragon Age guy.
Yeah, so a bit dubious over whether they're going to be able to pull it off. Yeah, we'll see about that one. Another wait and see.
This next one, it's not something I have any experience with. I just thought it looked really, really cool. Warhammer 40k Darktide, which is basically the Warhammer 40k version of Vermintide.
Yes,
and it's a multiplayer co-op shooter/melee combat thing. And I say melee combat because there's a lot of emphasis on using like swords and hammers and axes and that sort of thing. It just looks really cool.
I played Vermintide and that was pretty good, and it was a well-received game. And this just looks like Vermintide with guns, essentially.
Literally, yeah.
This is just like loads of, there still is melee combat in there, but there's a lot more guns as well. So
they even made a point of it in the trailer. Like, it started with everyone just with melee weapons, and I was like, "Oh, this looks pretty cool. It's a lot like Vermintide." And then
I think that was the point, right?
Yeah. Then they like pulled away. Everyone like cocked their shotguns and like loaded up, and I was like, "Oh, cool!" You got
that looks good. That looks good.
So that's meant to be 2020 for Xbox Series X/S and PC. Then Unreal Tournament Weapon Bundle is coming to Warframe. Again, prepare your anger. Epic Games Store exclusive. I don't give a shit. I don't play Warframe. Doesn't bother me. But it's going to be...
Warframe's free. So, I mean, get angry all you want.
So you'll get the rocket launcher, flak cannon, and shock rifle. And the thing is, Unreal Tournament is an Epic Games game. Like, they own it. They make it. So, well, made it years ago. Next up, this one looks cool, but it's only a CG trailer. So, only quite limited.
It does look cool, this one, yeah.
The Callisto Protocol, which is a sci-fi horror game coming out in 2022, and it's very, very Dead Space, and in fact, it's got the former, I think, producer or director, I think it's producer, of Dead Space. He's doing it. It's his new thing, and it's very Dead Space, which is awesome. Like,
definitely Alien vibes as well.
Oh my god,
Movie
there's a shot
Alien
where
vibes.
it's exactly the same shot as it was in, I think, is it Alien 3? When she's like pinned up against the wall, and then the alien's like right here, like, dribbling and shit. It's exactly
and the little thing comes out of the mouth.
Yeah.
Exactly the same, but it's a different, obviously different. It's not
like,
an alien. It's not a xenomorph. It's a proper different alien.
So that could be pretty cool.
That's
good. Hood Outlaws and Legends, which is the Robin Hood multiplayer thing, and that got a new kind of gameplay trailer, which looks kind of cool. I mean, I'm not a big multiplayer person, but it looks kind of interesting. It said play early May 7th, so that's not really release date. That sounds to me just like an early access / like beta type thing. But yeah, looks kind of cool. Looks like an interesting approach to doing co-op stealth stuff, which I think is no one does it because it's hard to do. So if they can do it, then that could be really interesting. What was next? Perfect Dark. Perfect Dark isn't a franchise I care about at all, but I know a lot of people really like it, and it's kind of like a legacy one these days. There was a trailer for that kind of comeback Perfect Dark game.
That looks really good. That's one of the ones that pricked my not my eyes, but I just pricked my ears and was like, what? No, pricked my eyes. What? This actually looks really good.
The trailer was like from a satellite down to a drone, and then it like flies through this building that's on fire and being blown up and shit.
The world just looks great. It's just another trailer that doesn't show any gameplay. Well, wait and see with that. But the world looks great, and it shows a lot of promise. But again, wait and see. This trailer doesn't mean anything.
Then there was a trailer for Scavengers, which is getting a PC beta, which is available right now apparently. And that's I don't really get what Scavengers was. It seems like a co-op shooter thing where you're killing monsters. I think third person.
I think what this shows is. I haven't watched the Perfect Dark trailer, which looks like graphically amazing, and then watched the Scavengers beta trailer straight after, which like the Perfect Dark was 4K and it was like high fidelity. It was beautiful, and this one was only 1080p and it looks grainy and the colors are all washed out. And it's like
because it wasn't just a style thing. It wasn't just a style thing. Like in raw fidelity, it just doesn't look as good.
Yeah. And I think that this kind of shows where like this it gets me excited for the next generation. I won't even call it next generation anymore because we're both PC players here. We both know what this word. It's just like what's to come in future with with ray tracing is available now and there's new technology and development is kind of taking the next leap forward in terms of visual fidelity. And it's going to become more and more stark and apparent where games are just with the Scavengers. They haven't chosen an art style, right? There's nothing like if you don't have those high fidelity graphics, you're more and more going to need to kind of deflect people away from the fact that you haven't got great graphics by using a decent art style.
Really outstanding.
And I think that's how indie developers have played it and done really well in the past.
That's why pixel art's so popular now. Because it's a really cheap and easy way to make something look cool, but without breaking your game.
And Scavengers, to me, it just looks old. It just looks like an old game, really. I mean, and with all these new great games coming out that look brilliant, it's just obvious that you need to do better. You need to do better.
And anyway. So, the order of the list I'm looking at, I took from I think Tech Radar. So this might not be the order it actually came out in, but I assume it is. And it seems unfortunate to put Scavengers there between Perfect Dark and then Back for Blood, which is basically a new Left 4 Dead by the people who used to do Left 4 Dead with Turtle Rock, who did the original one and Evolve. Awesome, exactly the same as Left 4 Dead. It's a co-op zombie shooter with different zombie types and different weapons and shit. Yeah, that looks awesome. And
quite
then
fun trailer.
Putting Scavengers in between that and Perfect Dark seems. I think it made it look a bit worse as well.
That's true.
And then the final one is Smash Ultimate's getting a new fighter, which I'm happy about. I play Smash all the time. It's getting Sephiroth, which seems kind of out of the blue. I mean, it would have made sense for Sephiroth to be the last one they added, not whoever the hell that is, the ARMS person, I think, because Final Fantasy VII came out more recently, and he's obviously the villain in that. But I mean, I'm excited for it. Two great games coming together again. But yeah, there's not much more to say about Smash without going on and on and on about it.
There you go. So that was all the trailers and what we thought about them anyway. So, like we said, Henry said earlier, all the trailers links are down in the description of this video. So if you want to go and check them out for yourself, do that. I won't throw them all up on screen because it's going to take a hell of a lot ages for me to edit all that in, and I don't want to spending like hours editing in trailers that you can just click and watch yourself. So go and do that. So that there you go. That's what are your picks? Let us know what your picks are.
Should we do like a quick top 3? Like my highlight is definitely Crimson Desert, then probably Warhammer. What's it called? Dark Tide.
Yeah.
And then maybe the Mass Effect trailer is cool, but there's nothing to like actually get sucked into.
No
right
gameplay.
Now. Where's the one? The tactical roguelike one. What was it called? Because that looked cool. I've lost it. It's not in front of me anymore. Bollocks.
Endless Dungeon.
Yes, Endless Dungeon. I thought Endless Dungeon looked really cool.
Yeah, I mean, I don't really have a top 3. I think we'll Disco Elysium. I'm looking forward to.
Yeah, Disco Elysium.
I haven't played it on. I know what that plays like. I've just left off. I waited for the Switch so I can take it with me and play with it at my leisure rather than be sat in front of a PC screen reading the whole time. So yeah, Disco Elysium is my pick out of all them. Anyway, let's move on now. With all that said. To the next segment, which is the community segment, and this is sponsored by this whole podcast is sponsored by this whole channel is sponsored by the community, thanks to patreon.com/prettygoodgaming and the memberships over on YouTube. So thanks to everybody who does take the decision to support us on a monthly basis. Without you guys, we wouldn't be here, wouldn't be able to continue to produce this content. And we've had a bunch of signups this week. I don't know what happened, but there's been an outpouring of support. So Andreas Kemkers supported $5 per month. Thank you very much, sir, on Patreon. Joey, another $5 pledge. Thank you very much, sir. Charlie Glover, a $1 pledge. Excellent. Thank you very much. Every single dollar counts. I really appreciate that. Andreas Fuentes Martinez pledged $5. Thank you so much, sir. Rohan 1996 pledged $1. Thanks very much, Rohan. And White Wolf comes back with a $1 pledge. Again, thank you very much. I've got 2 comments from these guys. Andreas Kemkers commented on Patreon saying, "Hey guys, long time fan, first time Patreon for anything. Need more people like you guys keeping it clean to the point without all manner of sponsored bullcrap. Came with Gaz from the Goliath Guitar channel. Hope you managed to keep it going too, but the copyright war is a hard one to fight. Keep up the great work." Well, appreciate that, dude. Thanks very much for the support. And White Wolf left a comment on Patreon too saying, "Money is tight, but had to resubscribe because you, Gaz, got Henry a beefy gaming PC rig." Not technically true. I contributed towards some of it, but it was a gift from Metalshark. And I'm excited to see Henry's journey. Who isn't excited to see Henry's journey into the PC Master Race?
To quickly touch on my journey, Metalshark is my Mr. Miyagi. Anytime I have a query, I ask him, and he's send me all these links, and it's like, you don't have to read this, but here's all the technical information if you want to know. I'm like, okay, cool. I'm not fucking reading that. But like, so I was even explaining to him, like, I feel like this was on, I think, Wednesday. I booted up The Witcher 3, make sure it ran everything, and as like a benchmark test to make sure everything did work properly. And I was like, all right, that's cool. I think I want to put a mod on. I'm not going to do anything complicated, so I think within the first day of really booting it up and really testing it, I installed a very, very simple mod. It was just adding a cloak to Geralt to make him look like more mysterious and cool. I was like, all right, that's awesome. And then a couple more to make that a bit more workable, like adding it as a slot in your inventory instead of taking up an item slot or anything like that. And then I added one which just adds a bit of immersion and makes Geralt look a bit more like a mutant. It makes him paler, it makes his eyes glow more, and I was like, well, how much difference can that really make? Like, it looks cool in these pictures, but am I really going to give a shit? Whacked it on, and I was like, you know what? It just looks better. Like, he should look like that. Geralt is meant to be kind of ugly because he's scarred and mutated because he's had all this shit in him. But he's super handsome, and then you get someone like Henry Cavill to play him in the series. I'm like, yeah, the mutant. What are you talking about? So now he looks just a little bit grosser, just a little bit
proper. Yeah.
So
that's cool.
I've begun my modding journey.
I mean, you're in your stripes there, dude. Already modding games. I mean, you're getting in.
I mean, I'll get to the more complicated stuff like graphics upgrades and lighting enhancements and shit eventually, but I handled the simple ones.
It's a good start. And thanks everyone for all your support as always. Like I said, patreon.com/prettygoodgaming. And so next segment is the quiz of the week. And this is from Metalshark this week. Thank you very much, as always, for the effort that you go to. To be read by Gaz. Thanks, Ben, for the awesome Cyberpunk quiz last week. All was above board behind the scenes, so they dined it out. I thought as much because it would be unusual for someone to just slap on Metalshark's toes and just throw in a quiz. Anyway, this week's Who Wants to Be a Gaming Know-It-All has a PC slant to check how much Henry has taken in this last week. So you're going to be tested, man. You're going to be tested on everything. All these articles he's been sending you, and the now is where you've just said that you don't read them. Anyway, so it might be a tad geeky in places. You have it's 3 lifelines, 50-50. And 2 Ask Gaz lifelines this week. No Google or Access. So he's kind of testing me as well. He wants me to. He wants you to ask me. Okay. So I feel like I'm going to be put on the spot at one point. All right then. So question number 1, Henry. What does a mouse bungee do? Does it A, entertains rodents, B, retracts pointing devices into the case when shutting down the PC, C, prevents the mouse cord from getting in the way, or D, develops Halo games for cheese?
I do know what this is because it was an extra thing in my care package of PC stuff. And I'm really glad you called it a mouse bungee because I couldn't fucking remember what it was called. And I think I said to my girlfriend, it's a mouse kangaroo or something stupid. It's not that. I know it's wrong, but I can't remember what it's called. A mouse bungee is, option C, prevents the mouse cord from getting in the way. You just hook it in and it keeps it over there. So, yeah, it's currently on there now, which is great.
It is correct. So that's 1 from 1. Question number 2. What kind of file is commonly used to set options in a game outside of its built-in menus? Is it a bitmap file, a config file, a batch file, or a rotary file? That's A, B, C, or D.
So I had to do this the other day as well. I'm pretty sure it's the config file because I had to raise the frame rate of the cutscenes from the default 30 to, I think, 144 to, make use of my monitor.
It's correct. It's the config file. That is another pretty easy one for any PC gamer. These are pretty easy. Number 3, which connector is typically used to connect a modern gaming graphics card to the motherboard? Is it PCI Express? Is it a B, Molex? Is it a C, 3/4 inch? Or is it a D, SATA?
Literally not a fucking clue about that one. Not even a little clue. What were my lifelines? Shall I ask you?
You can ask me. You could ask me twice, Henry.
Or 50. Yeah, 50-50 won't help me here. I'll ask you.
What did I recently do, Henry? What did I recently do to my PC, Henry?
You upgraded your graphics card.
I did. So are you going to ask me?
I'm going to ask you.
Okay, it's a PCI Express.
Excellent. So I will vote for the PCI Express.
It is correct, and that's 3 for 3. Next question. What is DLSS? Oh, I talked about this earlier. Okay, is it A, download load balancer for source synchronization, increases download bandwidth by using multiple sources? Is it B, deep learning super sampling, upscales low resolutions using artificial intelligence? Is it C, device latency sampling support, reduces input latency from devices by polling more often? Or is it D, double linked subsystem scambler, encrypts data when an unauthorized copy is detected? This is a setting in Cyberpunk, by the way.
Yeah, so I think that's what means that I know the answer. I didn't know what it stood for, but I think it's B, deep learning super sampling, because when I was fiddling with Cyberpunk settings, it tells you what they mean. Thank God, that was a big help.
Yeah.
And it said something about upscaling, but using artificial intelligence. So I think that's the answer.
That is the answer. And Cyberpunk is literally unplayable pretty much on ultra settings with the best graphics cards. Even your graphics, I saw... who was it that was playing it? I think it was Skill Up. His review, he said that he was playing on 3080, and to turn the LSS off, it's just unplayable. It's like 25 frames a second or whatever. Anyway, so that's correct. 4 from 4. Question number 5. Which of the following is not an ambient occlusion technique? SSAO, HBAO, VXAO, or HBO Max?
I mean... I'm still not entirely sure what ambient occlusion is. I think it's something to do with shadows and light, but I'm pretty sure it's got to be HBO Max because that's a streaming service.
Oh, man, this could have been so much better if you hadn't put that easy answer in. HBO Max is obviously not an ambient occlusion technique. Okay, question number 6. What feature, which often adds latency, is used to synchronize frames up to the maximum rate of the monitor when a frame rate limiter, low latency mode, or variable refresh rate technique is not available? Is it A, crossfire, B, anti-stutter anisotropic filtering, C, VSync, or D, reflex?
I think this is VSync because that's the one I keep having to figure out whether I need it on or off.
Is correct. That's 6 from 6. You're doing well, Henry. I'm very proud of you. I think Metalshark is already. Question number 7. What type of RAM can commonly be found on a graphic card? A, LONK, L-O-N-K. B, double L-E-Y-N.
I knew you would default to pronouncing it the Welsh way because it's a double L.
I was going to say Kane, like you'd know what that is. Double L-E-Y-N. C, VRAM, or D, Bore. B-O-R-E-R-A-Y.
I think it's VRAM, but I'm not entirely sure. But fuck it, let's go for it. VRAM.
The answer is VRAM. It's one of those terms that you hear thrown around, and it's like, that sounds...
I don't know what it is, but it's something.
The others are sheep breeds, he says. Okay, so there's the Welsh connection there. Well done, Metalshark. Bit of a chuckle over that. So 7 from 7. 8th question. What is Dvorak? D-V-O-R-A-K. Is it A, A, keyboard layout, B, German monitor manufacturer, C, texture compression engine, or D, expression meaning download complete? Dvorak.
So that I think that's something to do with keyboards, but I'm not 100% sure because I've seen it when I've been changing over my keyboard language and stuff to make sure it's correct. But to be safe, I think I would like to use my 50-50.
The 50-50 leaves keyboard layout, A, and D, expression meaning download complete.
I'd like to go for keyboard layout.
Is the correct answer.
Yeah. Played it safe, but I'm glad I did.
Yeah, it's a good use of your lifeline there. Question number 9. You've got 8 from 8 so far. Who makes the silicone processors and in the currently released NVIDIA 3000 series Ampere cards? Is it A, Intel, B, AMD, C, TSMC, or D, Samsung?
I mean, that's going to be a total guess. I mean, AMD's the only one that kind of sounds right, but I have no reason to think that. It just kind of sounds it. Based on your current expression, I'm not sure you know either. So is it worth asking you? Because this isn't just who makes the graphics card, because it's NVIDIA. It's their product, isn't it? It's who makes the silicon processors. Fuck it. Let's go with AMD. Let's have a guess. I can afford to get it wrong.
Which is what I would have guessed, and it's wrong. The answer is D, Samsung. Well. That, I mean, it caught you out. I mean, like, obviously I didn't know anyway, so it wouldn't make a difference. That is pretty nerdy things to know. Or are we just stupid? Let us know. And this is a guest question from Frozen Monkey. This is the 10th question, right? So appreciate it, Mr. Frozen Monkey. How many keys are missing on a 10 keyless keyboard compared to a full-size one? Is it A, 8, B, 10, C, 14, or D, 17? And we're talking about a 10 keyless keyboard. So we're missing 8 keys, 10 keys, 14 keys, or 17 keys.
But I feel like this question is deliberately a bit confusing, because 10 keyless, does that mean it is 10 less keys, as in there's few, that's the amount it's missing? Or like I don't know. But do you? I've got a lifeline. Can I ask for your input?
I honestly, it sounds like a trick question to me. So a 10 would be too easy if you didn't know, right? And it's from Frozen Monkey, and
Frozen Monkey. Short of getting the 2 keyboards and literally counting them, I don't know.
I would maybe trust Metalshark to not put such a
trick question.
A trick question. Metalshark probably wouldn't put a trick question. Frozen Monkey, however, all I'm saying is there's a reason why he's asking it, or there's a reason why Metalshark's wiping his hands of this question.
I would say if it's 10 keylesses and it's missing 10 keys, I would imagine in reality it's probably missing more. But I've literally nothing to back that up. How many have I got right? What am I on? I think I've got one wrong.
You're on 8 correct from
8.
9 answers, and you're on
Okay.
question 10.
Fuck it. Let's go for 14. Why not? What have I got to lose?
The wrong answer. The correct answer is 17.
I wouldn't have even... I did not entertain the idea that even would be. I was like, it's going to be 8, 10 or 14.
I knew that trickster frozen monkey would try and trick you like that. 10 was just the easy. I've never heard of a 10 keyless keyboard, so
No.
yeah. So there you go. Thanks for the questions for the quiz, Metalshark, and thanks for the input, Frozen Monkey 2. As always, really appreciate the light that it brings to the podcast. Appreciate that. So let's move on to the questions this week on the Discord. We've only got 2 this week, so if you do want to ask us a question, throw them on the Discord for us for next week. And do you want to take away the first one?
Let's do it. Okay, first one is from White Wolf. Henry, you should totally do a gaming PC review, or at least discuss it on next week's podcast. Your impressions as a console gamer graduating to PC gaming after all these years. Can you tell the difference in graphics quality? Have your eyes adjusted to 60 plus FPS compared to PS4's 30? That's honestly the biggest thing. Everything moves so quickly.
Smoothly, yeah.
Yeah. Could you ever go back after seeing the difference on your 1440p monitor? That's going to be painful. I've not played anything on PS4 yet, and realistically, it's just going to be an exclusives machine for a little while.
Yeah,
I think that will probably be like a next week's podcast type thing, because I've only been PC gaming like for a matter of days. Like I've got The Witcher 3. I played XCOM. No, not XCOM. The other one. Gears Tactics, which is basically XCOM. I crossed my save over from Xbox to PC, so I did that. That was way better. Oh my god, it was so fun to actually play it without it crashing every time I opened a menu. But yeah, I think that's definitely a bit... Once I'm more familiar with the PC kind of thing, then that'll be a solid conversation for next week, I reckon. But it's looking good so far, and going back to 30 FPS 1080p is going to be like... I don't want to do it.
It's going to be difficult. Yeah, it definitely is going to be. Obviously, yeah. Answer those questions in due course. White Wolf's obviously, excited to see how you progress as a PC gamer now.
I feel like I'm progressing fast. I'm modding and
you're doing well,
changing
man.
config files.
You're doing well. I'm impressed. I'm impressed by Metalshark's tutelage as well. He's been doing really well. So the next question and last question from the podcast from the Patreon this week. Loachgar asks, in light of Henry's new PC and Gaz's improved internet, are there any upcoming or currently available multiplayer games you're interested in playing with the Discord? This is a good question because you're available to be able to play with the community now, and I haven't been doing it often as I would like to or as I should have, but it's a good opportunity for us now to pick a game and just jump in and play.
Especially with the Game Awards list, two of the most interesting ones there. Back 4 Blood and Warhammer Darktide, they're 4-player co-op shooter things, so they're quite similar. So I think that sort of thing would be perfect. So
I think
definitely keep an eye out. Yeah, definitely something to look at now that I'm on a acceptable platform.
You got Game Pass, right?
Yes.
So if you get like Halo Master Chief Collection or whatever installed, play a bit of Halo on.
I don't know if I can cope with a competitive game on mouse and keyboard against pros.
There's only one way to learn, dude. You can't shy away from it.
True.
You got to get your ass kicked.
That's one thing. Obviously, for Cyberpunk, I'm playing mouse and keyboard, but I am switching to controller anytime I'm driving, because no fucking way am I driving with mouse and keyboard. That's just wrong. Like don't like it.
It's fine. I saw in SkillUp's review as well, he didn't like the driving with mouse and keyboard, and I'm like, what is he playing a different game on? It's absolutely fine in Cyberpunk.
Well, the driving, my thing with the driving is it can feel very icy, like you're skating around, which it's a bit annoying, but it's not crazy. My biggest problem is that the cars don't fucking brake. They don't stop. I'm driving, and even you can get up to speed quite quickly.
Press space, right?
Or brake for controllers on trigger.
You've got a bloody
Well, even on PC, like I tried it and I was just like, nope, right out of that. And it's not like I just have it in front of me and pick it up. It's easy. Reverse and handbrake. You still like slide so far. So if I'm trying to like stop quite abruptly, I'm hitting that person and the cops are coming after me. There's no escape.
There you go. So we're definitely up for that. We just need some decent multiplayer games, I guess, that are affordable, and you don't have to pay like 30, 40 quid just to play a couple of sessions on the Discord with. So any suggestions, for sure. I mean, I played with Loachgar in the past. We played the Division, which was Division 2. That was good experience. It's a nice game to get into. That it's a kind of casual game where you just like drop in and out with friends, and that's pretty decent. So any suggestions, Loachgar, let us know. And that goes along with everybody else. And that concludes our questions for this week. And we are going to move on next to everyone's favourite section, which is the Triggered Fanboy Comment of the Week. Get yourself ready, Henry, because this is a doozy. Okay. All right, last week's podcast from Ri-Fi.
Oh, I might not have read this one. I don't think I've seen podcast
it's
comments.
It's an absolute beauty. Honestly, it infuriates me to hear this games journalist hasn't been playing any games he reviews on PC. As a games journalist, you should be enough of a gamer that you play and can bear on all relevant platforms. Since PC dominates the market of gamers, it also doesn't make sense for a journalist not to do their primarily populist review on PC and comparisons on all of the relevant consoles. This is bad and lazy journalism. Always suspected these guys of that. Now it's confirmed. Bye now. Unsubscribing. It's one of those that's
gotta be bait.
It's so ridiculous that it kind of has to be bait, right?
Satire these days, it's so hard to tell. Right, well, for fun, let's assume it's 100% serious.
It's so stupid, though. It's so stupid. Like for fun, did we ever say we were games journalists? We literally sat here and read off a list of the Games Awards and scoffed at the fact that anyone from an esports thing... We just literally scoffed at all the esports awards and went right through it. If we were proper journalists, would we have been able to do that? No. We're just dicks on the internet talking shit about games. That's all we've ever professed to be. So if we say this is shit, that shit, whatever, we do a review, it's from our perspective. We always say this and that, or like we're only playing on a PlayStation 4, whatever. Yeah. We never said that we were professional games journalists, and if that's what you were here for, you were in the wrong place anyway. So we're not gonna miss you.
Anytime I do a review or even just an impressions type talking thing, because I think there's a semantics game. I think there's a difference between a review, a critique, and impressions. But that'll probably come up based on one of my comments later. I always say it was on whatever platform it was on, and when you ask for a review from a publisher, or fortunately get offered one, they normally, most of the time, will only give you one. So what am I assuming, again, this comment is real? Am I expected to get it for PS4 and Xbox, assuming it's on both, potentially even Switch, pay for a PC and all of the associated parts of that? So that's 4 potential console platform things all at once, and then play the game in its entirety on each one, and then fully compare? Yeah, probably that would, in an ideal world, be the best way to play and get the the fullest sense of it. But it's not going to fucking happen. That's never going to work. But now my reviewing ability is going to be exactly the same. Like literally none of it will change, other than at the beginning and in the description and stuff. I'll be like, I'm playing on PC now, assuming it's a PC game and not something like a Sony exclusive. This I don't buy this comment. I just don't.
You know what? With that in mind, I think it's genuine, because I've just searched for this user Ri-Fi in all his previous comments. He's commented twice before, and they're both kind of negative. So a year ago, he left 2 comments on these separate videos. I like the background, but Rooster Teeth is still better. Sorry, Funhouse for life. You guys remind me of Gaming Channel from like 4 years ago. It's getting better though. But don't forget, you still suck. Why did the glasses guy wear so many bracelets? That's more bracelets than a 2015 emo girl. Lose the wrist.
I am a 2015 emo girl.
Cheerio. And then that was one, and then the other one. Why does everyone invoke Rainbow Six Siege when describing a game as tactical? Escape from Tarkov and Squad are infinitely more tactical. Just because you can just throw a grenade through a door crack doesn't mean it's tactical. Tactical means you're required to use tactics and teamwork to succeed. This guy just sounds like a dick. an absolute dick.
Yeah.
So unsubscribing because we didn't play on PC. I mean, come on, man. I mean, he's want
the quintessential
reviews.
PC Master Race fuckwit. Like most people say PC Master Race is like a joke because it's better, but most people don't actually give a shit like where you play as long as you're having a good time. But he's one of these idiots like, if you're not playing on PC, you're not a real gamer. Fucking.
Yeah, that is true. But think about it this way, right? As a retort to his, you should play everything on PC. Some games aren't on PC, and also.
Oh, they're not worth playing.
Henry, reviewing a game, Henry is representing all the people who don't have a PC.
Which is a significant
exactly.
portion.
All the people who have to, who can just afford to have like a PlayStation 4 or whatever. And that is their experience. That is their world. They want a review or from a person who is in their world, who plays in the same kind of... All right, it's a little bit different now. So, Henry's perspective is kind of changing because he's got a gaming PC. But, it fulfills certain criteria for a certain demographic of the audience. Like, it's just to say that you should be a proper games reviewer. There are a lot of flaws with games reviewers and the way that they see games because they get everything to them handed to them for free.
We'll get to that concept, I'm sure, because I've got a few comments about it. But,
yeah.
The idea that... I can't remember what the thing is, so this isn't for verbatim, but saying most gamers are PC or something like that, that's just not fucking true. Like, a significant portion is on PC, but then consoles altogether, like PC is more than just PS4, probably. PC is more than just Xbox, again, probably. I don't have any numbers. But together, PS4 and Xbox, because most people will have one, they won't have both, but put all those numbers together for the console player base is... I don't have raw numbers, but I would put money on that it being bigger than the PC gaming community. Like, people that own a PC, most of them probably aren't gamers or gaming on the PC, you know what I mean? They'll use it for work or whatever. So I just think that's incorrect. You're not right.
Yeah, this guy's just been a dick, essentially, which, we're all capable of, but this guy's take is so bad. That he's a worthy winner of the Triggered Fanboy Comment of the Week. Unsubscribing. What, you didn't play on PC this whole time? I'm unsubscribing, even though you're playing on PC from Future. I'm unsubscribing. You weren't even worthy of me watching you because you didn't have a PC.
You've clearly been watching enough of the content, and it just either ignored or not listened to the part where I've said I'm on PS4 or Xbox or whatever. And remain subscribed. And it's only the point where you've been overtly told, I now have a new machine. Once again, thank you to you and to Metalshark for that. I will be eternally grateful. But now you've only just figured it out. It's taken this long. And
if anything, the situation is improved for him because now he's getting the point of view of a PC gamer.
Realistically,
but
just to hold it
against, exactly. But just because he wants to hold it against you because he's been, he feels like you weren't doing a good job before. Oh, I'm going to unsubscribe now. Completely arse about tit, man. Stop being a dick. Get over yourself, for God's sake. Some people are different. Some people just can't afford PCs. Some people want to see reviews by people who play on the same consoles as them. Get over yourself. We never said we were games journalists. I tell you what, you're a bona fide dick. Okay.
Nice, pun intended. Bona fide. Am I right?
Bona fide dick. There you go. That was the Triggered Fanboy comment. Let's move on to other comments.
A little bit. I've got a positive one here that I've just spotted, which I think is quite nice. From Often Spanks. I mean,
that's a great name,
my friend.
No, that's a great name.
Whatever you get up to, Been away from the channel for what seems like ages, and I'd like to reaffirm it's true what they say. Absence sees the heart grow fonder. Great work. Keep it up. Always entertaining and level-headed discussion. Well, thank you, Often Spanks. Keep on spanking and do it often. You're a good fella. Bring a little bit of positivity after that fuckwit, whatever his name was.
Yeah. I've got a comment of my own. I was just looking at the videos that were produced. You've got a thumbnail from this week saying Cyberpunk surprisingly good on last gen.
Yeah. I went back to that video,
and that's still on the chat, and it's like, oh god, so many people commenting on that now. Last few hours.
I saw them coming in, so I went back and posted a comment and pinned it. So yeah, this didn't age well, did it?
Surprisingly good means absolutely terrible.
Fucking awful.
Oh my god. Who said it's played surprisingly good?
Maybe they expected it to be even worse than it was.
Yeah. How did they expect it? Oh god.
That was in the same.
It's bad enough on PC.
That was in the same in investors call where they said the crunch isn't that bad.
Oh yeah. So they lied again. Oh, yeah. It's them lying again. I've said enough about CD Projekt Red. So I'm just.
Where's the one I did have? I think I've lost it. Where have you gone? So this one isn't on that video. Yeah, here we go. This one isn't on that video, but it's about that thing. So on, I think, Tuesday, sometime this week, I did a Cyberpunk review roundup. Did a bunch of positive ones at the beginning, then a few of the negative ones at the end. Two of what I consider the negative ones, but they don't give scores, but in general the tone was a bit more negative, were from Polygon and Kotaku, and they were very, 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 very similar. In that they spent a significant portion of the review talking about trans representation and that sort of stuff. If you care about that, that's excellent. Then you can go there and they can give you their opinions on that implementation. Personally, I think that sort of representation is actually quite good in this, because you can change your bits and bobs and you can mix and match. But anyway, however, they didn't include what I think is an essential part of a review, which is a single comment on performance, glitches, or bugs. And especially for a game like this, where that's the talking point now. Like, yeah, it's good, but buggy. Like, everyone's aware of that. And they didn't mention it, which I think is a fundamental failing of the review process. This person comes in on this other video, kind of calling me a hypocrite for saying that, because in this video, which was firstly about Halo, and then secondly about epilepsy sufferers and Cyberpunk, because there's a specific bit which can cause can cause seizures. Okay, so that's the thing. Sorry, that was a lot of background you needed to know for that. So this is from Quaz Infinity. It's quoting me from that video about the epilepsy thing. It's not about you. Get out of your bubble for 1 second. Agreed. If trans portrayals aren't important to you, don't bash the people who do care. Replace trans portrayals with epilepsy accessibility. It's still equally true. Hope this helps you see your hypocrisy, Henry, and ideally learn from it. It's not super mean, right? It's not. It's talking down. It's quite patronizing, but it's not super mean, so it's not so bad. And then I came back and published quite a lengthy response, which I won't read out. It's like a full fucking paragraph, because once I start replying to these people, I kind of get carried away.
Go for all in.
But I'll quickly explain why it is different.
Frozen.
That review, or those reviews,
Internet's died on you. I just lost you a sec, right? So
you're back now.
I just lost you. Yeah, I think your internet died. So if you just want to redo your last comment, because I won't have that footage on my side. So when I start talking to these people, that's where you stopped.
So when I start talking to these people, I tend to get carried away and leave quite a lengthy reply. So I won't read that whole thing to you. I'll just kind of give you the Cliff Notes version. The problem with those reviews is that it's not the fact that they included trans stuff. If you want to do that, great. And for some people, that's an important thing they like to care about. Personally, it doesn't bother me, so I don't look for it. Like, neither here nor there. I'm not saying it's an overtly bad thing, and I literally fucking said that in the video, but people don't listen. The problem is that something like that came at the expense of something else. At the expense of talking about something like bugs or whatever. Perhaps I could have chosen something else, like, they talked about this instead of this important part as well. If they were only talking about the epilepsy stuff in a review, then that would also be a problem, because then they're failing in their role, at least in my understanding of what a review should be, in talking about performance and shit. They failed in doing that. You can do both. That's what they didn't do. If you want to talk about trans stuff, awesome. But you should also talk about the performance. You shouldn't just talk about that stuff, because it comes across as incredibly disingenuous and agenda pushing. It's not about my bubble. It's not even about their bubble in that instance. People screaming that they shouldn't have talked about trans stuff. I mean, I'm not going to say that, because if they want to, they can, because that's clearly important to them. I think at least one of the writers identified as trans. So yeah, totally, they've got a perspective to bring, but they didn't bring the other stuff as well. So as a review, it's a failing in my mind. And that's where I would say there's a difference between a review, a critique, and impressions. I mean, it's a semantics game, really. But to me, a review, breaks down the different parts and looks at it as a whole based on like performance, gameplay, story, graphics. Let's say they're the 4 pillars, or like monetization as well. It's probably as a more modern one. Then a critique will look at a specific aspect like trans representation, or the story specifically, or the performance specifically. That's one feature. That's what I would argue is a critique. And then impressions is much more casual, and that's just a conversation. It's not looking at everything in depth. That's, it's not final. So I think that review came across more like a critique. And again, it's my semantics kind of game, but I don't think it was a good review. And this epilepsy thing is completely different.
Yeah, that's perfectly fair.
Because the epilepsy one is in isolation. There's the Game Informer review, and then there's the epilepsy specific PSA. So
yeah, I mean it's a tricky one. There's another one talking about the epilepsy one. If I had epilepsy, this is Alfonso comment on I think you replied to this one too. If I had epilepsy, I wouldn't play video games. At least I would be really, really careful, and I would never play something resembling Cyberpunk. No need for warnings. Epilepsy is too dangerous to risk additional seizures. I think that some people that has that problem should be more responsible. I think it's slightly like being allergic to potatoes and then pretend to work as a potato farmer. Yes, I suppose you could, taking a lot of protective measures, but you can't you do anything else? There are just a lot of alternatives to video games, like movies, reading, and different video games safer. Just, I don't know, maybe I'm not being reasonable, but I mean, at least he highlights the fact that he's self-aware enough to say maybe he's not being reasonable.
Yeah, I had a bit of a back and forth with this guy.
So yeah, and he carries on. Okay, put more warnings. I think it's like warn that the water is wet, but whatever, we lose nothing. So this is talking about the Cyberpunk epilepsy warning. Now, explain to me the situation, Henry. There was someone saying that Cyberpunk gave him a seizure or something, right?
So all video games have a risk of causing seizures, and so epilepsy, it's not just this, and it can incorporate other things, but generally it's an aversion to lights, and if you see a certain kind of strobing, like flashing lights or certain spectrums of light, it can cause a seizure, and that's not good. It's really, really bad. My brother has epilepsy. His isn't triggered by light. His is triggered by like other factors like heat and that sort of stuff. And a Game Informer, not the main reviewer, but a staff member at Game Informer who then reviewed part of it to like help. There's a sequence called brain dancing, which we touched on earlier, where the character puts on this like headset and then you go in like a virtual reality type thing. It flashes to like sync you in, and that triggered and what she said was a major seizure, which is obviously really bad, and there was no warning about that kind of thing. What a lot of people are saying was, there is a warning, it's in the EULA. Right, well, the EULA is fucking buried. It should be clearer. And, but it's at the beginning of when you boot up your PS4. Yeah, but it should still be clearer, because no one's going to assume that... Because the game isn't... That specific feature isn't just like every other game. Most games have the risk of doing it, and most epileptics will know not to take those risks, which is part of what I don't like about this person's comment, but I'll get back to that. This specific brain dancing thing caused her to have a seizure, and then you have to do it. You have to do it as part of the story. Like, you can't avoid it. There's no warning. And having a warning would mean that people who are otherwise fine with video games, because it's a spectrum. Some people are more sensitive to it than others. With a warning, you can be like, okay, I'm not going to play that. I can keep myself safe. But they don't know that, right? And then there's also, I think CD Projekt have a responsibility to add the option to remove it. It doesn't affect my gameplay. It doesn't affect your gameplay. It doesn't affect anyone's gaplay if you can go into the settings and toggle it off.
Accessibility, isn't it?
Yeah.
Accessibility. Like, blind people can't play when there's...
That's the example I always give is subtitles. So deaf people just shouldn't play the game then? Is that what you're saying? Like, no. That's stupid and just completely irrational. What this person, I think, is trying to say is, if you have epilepsy, why would you? It took me a minute to actually kind of get to the crux of his point, which is, why would you put yourself at risk?
Just stay away. Yeah, just stay away.
Like, it's for your own good, really. It's kind of...
But I think that's the point of accessibility, though.
Yeah.
Isn't it? It is that you don't want to stop doing things in your life just because you've got this condition. It's like... And it would be great if people can facilitate your enjoyment of this medium. Just, be a little bit more... I don't know. just do a little bit more to help me be able to enjoy your game. Give you an option to turn off strobe and lights,
which I don't have to turn on. I can still see it, and something like that isn't fundamentally part of like the artistic experience, because we talked about the difficulty mode thing for like Dark Souls and Sekiro. That specifically is. So I'm a bit more funny about that, but that isn't. It's one flashing sequence where you could add an option to turn the flashes off or change their color, because I think it's red and blue wavelengths or something. Red and white are more, dangerous.
Yeah.
And the writer, she hasn't had it since birth. Most people don't have it since birth. It manifests often in puberty. I think a couple of our patrons have talked about it as well. My brother got his, it came to be a thing in his teens. I think it was like 15 or 16. She developed it after an injury on active duty. So she's like, you can't. So if she was a gamer before, is she just meant to stop? Like, because something. If you can fix that problem, why shouldn't you? Like, if it is dangerous, no epileptic is actually going to play it. No one's saying that. These people aren't idiots. But why shouldn't you remove those obstacles? Like, if you can, which it seems quite easy. It's a modern world. A lot of decisions and changes are being made to games these days to allow people to be able to access games where they wouldn't. The adaptive controller by Microsoft is a leader in this field, and I think that more. Why should other people just like, I can't play games anymore because I've got this condition? It's like, let's leave out of that, shall we? This thing that I love, this. Just because you say I should deal with it, I should deal with it. No, we should ask people to at least consider changing it to make it more accessible to more people. No one. It hurts no one.
Exactly.
Literally no one. And like, I brought this up in the video as well. If you want to get like cold and corporate about it, it means more people can buy it. More people can pay for your game, and you'll earn more money. Perhaps it's only like 0.5% more, but still.
And also, if you're a CDPR and you value street cred, you get more street cred for it too.
Yeah, exactly. And there's a lot of people saying they deliberately put it in to cause seizures, and I'm not going to say they did or didn't on that sort of thing. But
I'll say it. They didn't. Of course not. Why would you do that?
No, but
what cold-hearted dick would you do?
I don't think didn't say it clearly. I think the strobing on the thing is meant to. Well, it looks a lot like the what a doctor would do to like deliberately induce a seizure for whatever reason. Right. It's like if they're trying to check something,
diagnose or what. Yeah.
So it's certainly likely that they deliberately saw that and was like, that's cool, let's do that, but didn't. I don't believe they knew it would cause seizures, and I don't believe they did it with malicious intent. I think that's ridiculous. But a warning isn't enough either. You should have the ability to change it, which doesn't affect your experience. Sorry, I've got a few comments like that, and it pissed me off. Like I got triggered, I got offended because these people, you're wrong. You're objectively wrong.
Okay, we're back. We just had a little technical difficulty there, so Henry's camera's up and working again. So we talked about this. I think we don't want to labour on too long about this. We've dealt with it in depth. I think I've got another negative one, which is just another. I think I'm over it already. So I don't have many more comments. Do you?
No, I could look for more, but.
Yeah, I'm sick of reading negative ones. You got any positive ones?
Let's see if I can find a good positive one.
Ian B. Tech. You don't come across annoyed, Henry. Just
not this guy.
The stupid haircut, as always.
Oh, this guy.
This is bait. He's
our pantomime
he's
villain.
Triggered fanboy. Yeah.
The thing is, someone came back. David Plum. Stupid cute, that is. Oh no, where's one?
Good on you, David.
There was one.
Good on you, David.
I think actually it was in. It might have been in last week's podcast. It was really funny. Hold on. It was. No, it's not that one. Fuck, where is it? It was something about a beard, and because I think you brought it up in one of the comments. So, and I think someone followed up with that, but his reply made me laugh. Fuck, where is it? Oh, if I can't find it, this is gonna be really disappointing. Is it in the podcast? I think it's in the podcast. Oh well, never mind. Well, what
keywords were in it? Like Henry looks great with the beard,
or fucking hair. No, let's just search my own name and do some pure vanity.
Right, hair Henry.
No. This is... Well, you'll probably find some good ones anyway.
Yeah, it's just Ian B. Tech has another comment. It's Henry of the stupid haircut.
Yeah, man, he's...
just another one.
We've given him the validation.
He doesn't like your haircut. I mean, show your face on screen, damn it. Send us a picture of what you... Come to us on Twitter and show us what you look like. And let us pick your features apart. And let us critique how you look. Hey? If you want to sit there behind your veil of anonymity and start telling people they've got stupid haircuts, why don't you just step up like a man and show us what you look like, Mr. Bloody... I don't know, Mr. Universe or whatever you are, because you must be.
I mean, you're fine to complain about my hair because I literally do not give a shit. Like, I'm not sensitive about it.
That was a joke, by the way.
Fuck, where is it?
Evidently, don't give a shit.
Oh, this is really annoying.
I'm going to have to.
Oh, fuck it. We're just going to have to. Got it. Found it. It doesn't actually mention my name or beard, but let's go. Because the response is what's funny. So this is from Jonathan Christie, and it is on last week's podcast. I've overhyped it now, much like Cyberpunk. Well, hey. Jonathan Christie. I'm not into guys, but damn, the guy on the left looks extremely handsome in this vid. The guy on the right is alright too, I guess. A bit of flattery. Got a couple of likes, and I don't think I liked it. I might have done, but I can't remember. And then someone, Karusame, you're either the guy on the left's mum, girlfriend, or actually the guy himself. The other guy then commented back saying nope, and I can clarify. I'm struggling with the fucking name. That's not one of my personal accounts or anything, but if it was my mum, she would be way fucking worse. The problem is, she hasn't figured out how to leave comments yet. Give it time, she'll crack the code.
Brilliant. There'll be so much more
exactly.
Compliments flooding in once she figures out how to comment.
Yeah, totally. So I'm not telling her how, because it'll be really lame. Anyway, that's the comment. I'm glad I found it. I hope it was worth the wait. Tony
Sulman comments, Henry, there were good bits in Rise of Skywalker. I swear, Cooper.
Yeah, that's tons, isn't it? They're right.
Oh, tons, that is.
Yeah. I think I commented back.
Maybe just one, question mark.
I think, there's the Han Solo bit was nice. Yeah, there you go. The Han Solo bit's nice, and then when it ended, because it was over. But,
yeah. Credits.
Like,
there you go. Oh, there was one, David Plum. Do you get to complain about how little money your channel makes and buy a 3070 and a 3080? And that was a good question. I don't hold it against him for asking, but I clarified in a response saying the money the money for that did not come from the money generated by this channel. I've got a full-time, total separate job, and the majority of that PC was a gift. If not all of it, you could say.
Yeah, it's Metalshark's upgrading his own one, so there's a lot of like secondhand parts from there and parts he's got from other people. Because I have no idea what you actually do. I just know it's something technical. So you have access to all this
Works
stuff.
In security, yeah. And my contribution to that was like Metalshark did some work for me, so he didn't. Look, we kind of worked out a deal where I would compensate him with paying for the graphics card for you. So he literally earned that the whole thing for you anyway. So you could say it was all him. So my 3070, it's my 40th birthday yesterday. You know what I mean? If I don't get to get a present from at my 40th birthday, like a 3070, like that was a gift as well. You could say. Because my wife allowed me to buy it, essentially. So I was given permission. So that the money for this channel is on the verge of breaking even every single month. So and that is without paying me a dime, I might say. I don't get paid anything. This is a hobby. PC gaming is my hobby because it's what I like to do. I don't pay myself anything for it, and like I said, it's on the verge of breaking even. If not, it does. It's a lot of the time it doesn't. So this money did for all that. We're talking about new graphics cards, new gaming PCs. It has nothing to do with the amount of money this channel is making. If we were going off the amount of money this channel was making, we wouldn't even have base PlayStation 4s. We would be playing on like wristwatches or whatever.
I think every time I bring it up, I'm going to have to be like, and this video is sponsored by Metalshark.
Yeah.
Yeah.
The gift, this is what it was. You got gifted a gaming PC. Yeah, you can be jealous about that, but don't come at us saying that, oh, we don't get to complain and say that we're not struggling for money because we got given a gift. What was supposed to do? Sell our stuff and just to pay? And
Shark will vouch for this. I protested. I told him not to because I was like, it's a huge...
Oh, please
huge
don't.
Thing.
Please don't give me that huge gaming rig.
Oh, no.
It would be the worst thing ever.
Now, to clarify, this bit is a joke. That's a joke.
There you go. But yeah, I mean, you did come back and apologise anyway. So it wasn't a bad... That was the David Plum, the guy who said in the previous comment that you're pretty cute or whatever it was, right? There you go. Yes. Yeah,
so I think we're done with comments then.
Yeah, absolutely. And that is that for the comments this week. And like I said, if you... I won't do the outro. I've got another segment. What am I thinking about? We've got one more segment, guys. One more segment. And this is the bad dad joke of the week.
We are basically at 2 hours.
Yeah.
This has been a long one. Oh, well.
That's fine. It won't take me long to edit if I've got the footage on my side.
Yeah.
Let me find the bad dad jokes. Right, this is Henry's favourite segment. And Henry, are you ready?
Let's do it.
Try not to roll your eyes too much. Okay. I wanted to be a multi-millionaire just like my dad. He always wanted to be a multi-millionaire too.
Yeah.
Okay, that was the first shit one. Next one. It's a shame nothing is built in the USA anymore. I just bought a TV and it said built-in antenna. And to be perfectly honest, I don't even know where that is.
See, that's quite funny.
Did you hear about the seafood restaurant that will give you calamari in exchange for money? They call it squid pro quo.
That's a real dad joke.
That's a proper dad joke, yeah. I'm just picking them at random here based on the emojis that have been left on them. So if you're doing a better one to be read next week, just leave better emojis. Okay, I found one with more emojis than ever. So this is the actual bad dad joke. I was driving absent-mindedly, and my wife suddenly said, "Hey, you missed the right." I said, "Thanks, babe. You misses right."
I could see me doing that. Like, very easily could see myself saying something like that.
Oh yeah, that's definitely in my my repertoire. And there you go. That is the bad dad joke segment and the last segment of the week. Other than the ending segment, which is just me saying thank you everybody for watching. Thank you for supporting on Patreon and on YouTube memberships. And if you do want to go sign up, like we said, we do struggle for cash no matter what you think, because we've got new systems or whatever, which were gifts. We are struggling every single month. So every little donation helps. Over at patreon.com/pretty good gaming. You can get early access to the podcast for 2 days. You get access to the Patreon-only Discord membership section, and you get to ask us questions in a podcast for next week. It's well worth the price of admission, that's for sure. So nothing left but for me to say thank you for watching. See you again next week, and on behalf of Henry and myself, we'll see you again next time. Until then, bye for now.